Hey guys, what's going on? In today's video, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know as a beginner about Shopify's theme web design. In a sense, for example, if you're a Shopify merchant or if you are just somebody who's building a Shopify store and you want to have that really nice and unique and maybe original look to Shopify store so it doesn't look like all the other Shopify stores out there, then this video is for you because I'm going to teach you how you can get a Shopify theme that looks like this, guys. Let me just scroll through it fast. So all this, guys, was done basically without writing a single line in the code. I didn't hire developers, right? So I didn't even use ChatGPT or any AI to do any of this. So all of this was basically done by drag and drop, guys. And I didn't write a single line in the code, which is pretty crazy, considering how nice and really gorgeous this entire theme and Shopify store looks right now, guys. It's absolutely insane. So in today's video, guys, essentially, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about sections, right? Everything about the blocks, about what are sections, what are blocks, how to customize them. I'll teach you the basics of padding, margins, really a bit of a technical term so you can understand when you're going to be doing it yourself, guys, and really how to style and customize your Shopify store as a pro, guys. Okay, so if you're ready to go, let's go ahead and dive into it right away. And by the way, guys, if you are just starting out with Shopify, make sure to check out this landing page URL that I will be dropping in the description box below the video, because thanks to the secret link, you can have a Shopify for only $1 for the next 3 months. So if you're just starting with Shopify, guys, definitely take advantage of this deal because Shopify constantly changes this promotional landing page. So today's $1, maybe tomorrow it's gonna be $20, guys. So definitely check it out. I'm gonna be leaving the link in the description box. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into it right away. So what we're gonna do right here, I'm gonna go basically section by section, and we're gonna sort of, I would say, disassemble these sections and these blocks. And as we go, I'm gonna be explaining to you what they are, how they're used, and how you can customize them as a beginner, guys. Okay, so again, if you're just complete beginner and if you just created a Shopify account, and if you're asking me which theme I'm using a Debutify theme. And if you guys want to learn more about Debutify and what they do and what kind of products they have for Shopify, definitely check out this link right here. I'm going to be also dropping it in the description box below the video, guys. So go ahead and check it out. And if you want to see all the theme templates that I have, just go here to demo, guys, and you will be able to see everything right away. All right, so once you have your Debutify theme and once you have Shopify, you will probably end up on the Shopify dashboard. This is their main dashboard where basically everything happens. You add your products, you customize Shopify theme, you create collections, and essentially this is your Shopify sort of a powerhouse because here everything Shopify related will be happening for your business, right? So, but in our case, we only want to customize the Shopify theme, so let's do that. So what I'm gonna do here, this is the theme I'm gonna be working on, the Debutify fashion template. And to start customizing it, I'm gonna click on customize. All right, I know so a lot of things are happening here, specifically for you as a beginner, but again, don't be worried, don't be confused because I'll be explaining you pretty much every single element that you see here on the screen. So I'm gonna start essentially from top to bottom. So we kind of, do it nice and clean and based on hierarchy. So let's start with the very first element right here, guys. Okay, so what do we see here? It's essentially called a announcement bar, okay? So announcement bars are usually used to announce any sort of promotions or deals that are happening site-wide on your Shopify store. So really good for your conversion rates because customers will see this across the site, whatever they go. Is it like homepage, collection page, product page, any page? They will be always reminded that, hey, there's free shipping or there's promotion. So it's really, really important to have something like this, right? So let's talk about how we can customize that, okay? So actually it's really easy. All I need to do, I just need to click on the section right here on the announcement bar. So once I do that, it's gonna pop up all the settings for this bar on the right side, okay? So Shopify divides their customizer into two parts when it comes to customizations. So the right part usually will be for the section settings. Okay, for example, if I just, for an example, or as a reference, I'm gonna click on the hero section here. You guys are gonna see that now I have all the options for the hero side, okay? So once you click on the section, you're gonna always see the settings of that section right on the right side, okay? And on the left side, we're gonna see essentially all the sections and the blocks that are currently in this Shopify theme, okay? So you can see announcement bar. If I kind of collapse that, if I close that, I'm gonna see the header. So that's essentially how it goes. We have these sections, right? And within the sections, we have blocks. But again, I'm not going to confuse you. We'll touch on that just in a second. Let's go back to our announcement bar. All right, so in the announcement bar, we have a couple options here, right? So you can make it sticky. So basically, if we enable this option right here, and if we scroll, the announcement bar will become sticky, right? So it's really important because you guys can notice once I start scrolling, the announcement bar goes out of the viewport. For example, here, I currently have my header sticky. You guys can see when I scroll, I see it all the time, okay? It's really important. Again, it's really good for conversion rates, but again, it will be more of a business decision because, right, you maybe want to make header sticky or maybe just the announcement bar sticky, right? Because don't forget, when it comes to Shopify theme design in general, or to like web design best practices, you need to think about smaller screens as well. Because for example, here I'm on a mobile screen. So imagine now I have this sticky, I'm gonna have this sticky, and maybe I'll want to have this element sticky. So now we easily have like, I would say 1/5 or maybe 1/6 of the screen already busy by these elements right here, right? So ideally when the user lands, we want to show them as much information as possible on the spot. So imagine you have a really important section here, for example, like a bestsellers, right? But since we have so many elements over here, they push down the other elements below the fold, meaning below what we can see on the spot, and that can hurt your conversion rates because, well, people usually will click on the first things that I see, which is going to be basically hero section, and maybe they're going to go somewhere here, right? And usually in DTC, majority of traffic that lands on your homepage will be basically dropping off by not even a middle of the page, okay? So it's really important, this piece of the real estate right here that you're presenting to your users, okay? And how you position your elements will really decide if you're converting people or if you're losing them on this URL or homepage, okay, guys? So that's a bit of a best practices there, guys. So again, let's go back to our announcement bar here. So if I want to make it sticky, I can simply enable this toggle here. This is how easy it is to make it sticky without actually needing to hire developers who are installing Shopify apps. We can adjust padding. So for example, let's say this bar maybe is too thin, maybe I want it thicker for some reason, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna click on top padding. So, and think of padding as basically adding a bit more spacing to your element from the outer space. So there's padding and there's margin. So let me guys give you a quick masterclass on website design, okay? All right, guys, so here, if we kind of look here on my screen, we have something called padding, then we have margin, and then we content. Actually, this is not the best example. Let me just show you something a little bit better. It's gonna be a bit more clear. So this is gonna be a better example, right? So each elements are essentially structured like this from the design's POV. So for example, let's imagine this announcement bar right here, okay? So this right here is content in the middle. So the text or whatever, all these little icons here, this is essentially the content, right? So right here, and then the content is surrounded by padding or basically a extra space to just, give it a bit more breathing space or just space in general, because imagine if all of this is just kind of a squeeze next to each other, it's gonna look really, really ugly, right? So if there's no space at all between these elements and sections, right? So that's what padding does. It gives a bit of a breathing room between the elements, right? And then you can also add actually a margin. So sometimes, well, yeah, we're gonna have a border. So usually there's we have padding, and then around the padding we have a border, and then we have margin. And margin is essentially a additional spacing but outside the element. So let's imagine, for example, let's take an example, this section here, right? So currently this section, I don't think it has any margin, so we have mostly padding. So if I preview this, and if I go to my inspect tool, essentially here we can see how it's actually structured. And if I select this entire element right here, you guys can see with the green, we have the padding. So the green is padding, and usually orange is going to be margin. So we don't have any margin added to this section, right? But we can do that. So for example, if I do something like margin and I'll do like 10 pixels, you guys can see that now I've added a additional surrounding additional spacing around the padding or the entire element, right? So it's really good to separate elements and give them a bit more breathing space. But again, when you do that, don't forget that the elements inside there will essentially be squeezed more and more closely and more tight. And essentially that might not be the best UI design, because now the top collection header will come closer to the subheader, and the subheader will come closer to the image container here. So essentially everything is getting squeezed closer and closer together, right? So that's essentially what these do. So padding, margin, and the content in the middle. So here you can control that. You guys saw that seemed pretty complicated, right? But all of this is simplified for beginners through the Debutify theme, and they make it accessible as simply as by just selecting whatever padding you want from a drop-down option, which is, in my opinion, really, really awesome for beginners. So for example, if I want to add a bit of more padding, so let's go with top padding. Let's say I want to add medium. You guys are gonna see now it became much bigger, and maybe to bottom too, to make it, more separated from the header section. Let me add medium too, and now I have a really, really huge announcement bar, okay? So obviously this is not something you would do, but again, just to give you an idea how easy it is to customize that, right? So cool. So that's for that. And also you can change basically the colors how you want. Like the color changes are very flexible, and colors will be always under color schemes when you work with the Debutify theme. So for example, if you want to change the color of this entire announcement bar, let me just change to light. You guys saw the entire thing change, and you guys can see the text is changing, the background changing, and the contrast and the colors are changing properly, meaning that not the entire thing becomes white, right? So the text is still black and the background is white, which is cool because you don't need to go and look in the settings somewhere in the theme settings and figure out how you're going to change the text blue so it doesn't blend maybe with the background. So all of this is done by you by simply choosing between theme color schemes, okay? Or for example, if I want to do like a dark one, right? So a lot of options, guys. So let's say I want to go with primary, and let me just save that because it looks nice and clean. And you can even customize it down to the point of like which icons you want here, right? So you can add your Facebook links, your Instagram links, your YouTube links, stuff like that, guys. So literally every single thing that you see in the section or any section in the Debutify theme is fully customizable without being a Shopify developer, guys. This is insane. Cool, guys. So that's for an announcement bar, and that's how easy it is to customize that. Let's talk about the header. So when it comes to styling, essentially all the elements and blocks kind of follow the same pattern. It's as easy to customize them as the announcement bar at its core, right? But again, some elements have more options. For example, the header here, we have a little bit more options, right? We can have custom border colors. For example, if I want to do custom and I maybe want to change different border color around the header, you guys can see it gave it a bit of a light gray border here, right? So that's what it does. I can have, for example, let me go back to header here. So, and here it gives me the color for the border. Let's say maybe let's do it, for example, red, and I'll choose custom. You guys can see here, it changed to red right here, okay? So it's pretty awesome. You can really change the way you want it. And you have a lot of different options, right? You have options for logos. You can make it transparent. You can make the header sticky, same like an announcement bar. You can enable wish lists, right? And you can just do so many different things, right? You can even add animations to your header. So it's really customizable to a pretty insane level. And again, you can even make your, for example, logo bigger or smaller. For example, guys, let me just make it smaller just to kind of see. And you guys see the logo became smaller, okay? So again, no hassle. No need to go into code and try to do it. It's really easy, guys. Maybe I want to make it really huge for some reason. You can do it too, and it's fully responsive, right? So if I, for example, do it on desktop like this, and if I go to mobile, you guys can see it changes to a responsive mode, and it changes to a different logo that's specifically for a mobile, right? So if I scroll down here, you guys can see for mobile, I have a different logo, which is pretty awesome. All right, guys, and then we have like these cool elements, which are sort of dynamic and dynamic scroll bars. So really cool, again, to maybe add some value props, or maybe some promotions, like here, for example, subscribe and get 10% off your first purchase, or maybe, just to let people know you have free shipping, or maybe that you have eco-friendly products, or maybe new collections, whatever is the case. So you can add that here, and it just brings a bit more attention to people's eyeballs because it's moving. So naturally you will want to look at it unintentionally, right? So you can add promotional tags, value props, really whatever you want. But again, to kind of see how easy it is to change, I'm gonna click on the section right here, guys. And it's gonna be right here, scrolling banner, okay? And I have so many options, guys. Just look at that. Again, we can change padding. For example, again, if we want to have more or less space around the section itself. And I think the most interesting part here is to actually change text, right? So let's scroll down and let's talk about blocks, okay? So this is the section, and think of the section as a parent container, or basically the parent of the elements that are inside here. So this is the scrolling banner itself is a parent. Let's think of it this way, and whatever is inside is going to be a block, or it's sort of a child element, okay? So these are essentially child elements or the blocks, and you can customize them all individually. So if I click here on the blocks, right, so the block itself doesn't have any options because block is basically just containing the children within it, in a sense. And then these elements here that are within the blocks can be customizable, right? So here we have text. You guys can see is essentially the same text here. I can say something like, hey, this is my first store. Please buy something, okay? For example, and exclamation mark. Okay, that's text number one, and I can even change the icons. If I click on icon here, I can change to whatever I want. So all of the icons in Debutify Theme are handled by Google Icons. So if I click on the hyperlink right here, it's gonna bring me to a Google Icons link. And here I can choose anything. I can just, I don't know, for example, I can search for heart, okay? And let's say I made a typo, heart, okay? So let's say I really like this smiley heart icon here. So I'm gonna click on it. Whoops, I'm gonna click on this icon. I'm gonna scroll down and I'm gonna look for icon name. That's what I need essentially, okay? And I'm gonna copy the heart smile icon name. I'm gonna go back to the Debutify. I'm gonna replace the star with the heart smile. And there you go, guys. So this one actually doesn't work. So this can happen, okay? When you see bugs like these, it means that the icon hasn't been officially added a supported icon to the theme, okay? It can happen, it's pretty common in Shopify themes, right? We can try something else, for example, this icon right here. If I choose this icon, if I copy code, let's try this one. Okay, this one works, guys. So it will depend. If you see something weird and if you don't see the actual icon, it means that support for that icon specifically wasn't added. You can always reach out to the Debutify's customer support and ask them to add it, and they're gonna do it for you manually, free of charge, okay? So let me save that. So now we have our heart icon here. Cool, guys, congrats. If you're following along, then congratulations on doing that. So let's move on to a hero section. That's a big one. So hero section is really important element for DTC and e-commerce in general, because essentially that's where majority of homepage users will be going through to your lower funnels. So what do we want to do here? You can do so many different options, guys. So you can have different images per device segment, meaning that for desktop or big screens you have one image, and for mobile you can have completely different. So just an example, you guys can see I'm on a desktop. If I go to mobile, I still have the same image because it's the same image still. But for example, if you want to have different image, I'm gonna select here. All right, and let's just do something, since we have a fashion store, so how about we put something like this for our mobile devices, okay? And if I click save, so what's gonna happen now, if I go back to mobile, you guys can see that now the image has changed. And actually, it cropped it pretty good. It actually looks pretty good with all the black and everything here with the CTA, so really nice. So cool, guys, so that's how easy it is to actually have device segment-based image assets on your hero section. So you can do the same thing for video. You can have a separate video on desktop or large screens, or video for mobile screens. Well, depends how you want to do and brand your Shopify store. All right, and you can even align like these boxes here. So you guys can see these are basically our blocks or box elements. You can customize them all individually. So let's say, to be honest, guys, just as an example, because right now I have 3 slides. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hide these 2 so we can work with a single slide for now. So it doesn't like auto scroll. That's really makes it hard for me to show you guys exactly what I mean. So for example, I want to move this entire section to the right side. So this is really easy to do. What I'm going to do, I'm going to click on a slide, and then I'm going to go to box alignment here. For desktop, for example, I'm going to go to bottom and let's do right. You guys see, bam, it changed to the right section just like that. And what about if I want to have it maybe in the middle? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go again to drop the menu, and I'm gonna do middle center, guys, and bam, now it's in the middle. This is how easy it is to actually move the elements in terms of where you want them to be without, again, hiring developers or breaking your head how you can do it, okay? It's that easy. So let me put it back where it was. I'm gonna go to a bottom left, I believe. Cool. And what about if I want, maybe I want the text and the elements to be a bit more visible on the hero section. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add something called overlay opacity, or essentially it's gonna add a bit of a dark overlay color on top of the image. So these elements here stand out a little bit more. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drag this one over here. You guys can see it became a little bit, maybe that's too much. I can do it completely black if I want to, but I feel like maybe something around 40% should be, maybe 50. Yeah, I think 40 is good, guys. Nice. There you go, guys. We can also do a container, but that doesn't really do much in this case, I believe, because the screen is smaller. So we can ignore this one. But yeah, guys, for actually, yeah, it's right here, guys. So the container is this one. Sorry, my bad. So you can even add a container, which is basically a black box around these elements right here, if you really want it to stand out. So again, it will really depend how you want it. You can, if you move this to the right side, it's going to move alongside with the box. Let me just demonstrate that for you. So let me change that to a bottom right. You guys can see the entire thing change. That actually looks pretty good. I might leave it just as it is. Cool. And what about colors, guys? Same thing like an awesome bar and other elements. I can just go to my color schemes right here. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go from a default color scheme to something, for example, light. And now the entire thing became white. Maybe that's too much. Maybe secondary background, that could be, or maybe primary background, which is too white, okay? So that's awesome in terms of just kind of show you what you can do. But in my case, I feel like for my brand's design and the whole brand feel in general, I think I'm gonna go with dark because that looks just slightly better. All right, guys, and actually we have this little cool element right here. I know you've been maybe looking at it and you were curious about what it is. So this is basically a spin the wheel to win. So essentially your users can spin the wheel, almost, you know, like in casinos. You see these sometimes. So you can actually spin it and win maybe a discount code or maybe a freebie, like a free product, you know. So a lot of brands do that. So if you spin that, usually it's gonna be discount. So they're gonna spin that, and essentially, for example, if they get the 30% off, for them to get that 30% off, they need to add their email. Okay, so basically you are exchanging a promotional code or maybe a freebie or free product in exchange for the email, so you can put it into your CRM or Klaviyo or whatever you guys use. And essentially you can build your email customer base this way, okay? And again, all this is coming with Debutify. This is not like a third-party app or anything, guys. Like, again, if I just kind of go here to settings, again, if you want to access theme settings, FYI, it's gonna be here to this little theme settings icon. But what I want to show you here, guys, is that the Debutify theme comes with almost 100 Shopify apps and sections built in. So meaning that it has actually 100 Shopify apps built in within the theme, guys. I know it sounds crazy, but that's true. And that's gonna save you so much money down the road, because like imagine if this would be something like Shopify's Dawn theme, okay? So just as a comparison, guys, let me go to Shopify Dawn theme to kind of show you visually what I mean by that. I don't think I have it here, guys. Let me just quickly add it. Well, you know, guys, the Shopify's latest theme is the Horizon that they're really promoting quite a lot. So let me add that and show you how Shopify themes look, so you can kind of get an idea, and you're gonna see just how empty it actually is compared to Debutify. Okay, so that's good to go. So I'm gonna go again and customize the theme, okay? You guys, just look at this, like, if we're just looking at the sections, it just looks, I'm not saying it's bad, it's really clean, right? It could be good maybe for jewelry and maybe for different fashion brand, right? It could be, it's very minimalistic. But my point is, guys, you have like none of the Shopify theme, Shopify apps in here like Debutify has, guys, okay? So there's nothing really, no awesome bars, no pop-ups, no spinning wheels, like literally nothing, okay? If we go to product page, just really just a bit of, you know, color selectors, some buttons, not even sticky add to cart, guys. So it's really plain and simple, right? But again, if I go to the Debutify, let me actually open up the product page, because there's so much stuff actually happening. So if I go to my product page here from products, and that's how you guys switch the print templates. So in Shopify, we currently are on a homepage, which is a homepage template. But if we want to switch to a product page template, we're going to go to this drop-down menu here to products and then select default product template, okay? You guys can see we have so many more things already off the bat. We have the newsletter pop-up here. We have animated sticky add to cart. And for example, I can even make it, maybe if I want to, I could actually make it sticky, right? So let's try to do that. Well, it's actually already enabled, guys. So if I just scroll down here, if I go to my settings, you guys can see just, let me expand all of these Shopify widgets and sections. Guys, just look at that. Okay, we are starting with these ones, and then we have more here, and we have here. And guys, it doesn't even end. It's absolutely insane how many widgets Debutify has, all right? And here you can see the sticky add to cart. Like you can fully customize that if you want to, for example, show or hide the thumbnail for the product, or if you want to maybe remove them animation or change the style, or you can show the reviews if you want in the sticky add to cart. So really a lot of options you can do here, guys. Okay, but again, let me go back to the homepage just to give you the crash course on the design, and then you can download the Debutify theme and install that in your Shopify theme and play around with it yourself if you want to. All right, guys, so there's a lot of, again, options here. So if I look, for example, at this here, we have this like really nice really nice, for example, countdown timer, which is really awesome. So again, this is not a third-party Shopify app. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Something like this would easily cost you maybe, I would say $5, $8, maybe even $10 a month from Shopify App Store. But all of this is already built in with your Shopify theme. So again, it's really easy to customize. I can just click on it here, and I can just basically choose what I want to promote, right? So for example, I can change my title, right? So let's do something like only 50% off, okay? Because 40% is not enough. So let me save that. And if I want to actually adjust the countdown timer logic itself, I'm gonna click here on the countdown, and I can here change now how it's being presented, okay? So days, minutes, hours, seconds, etc., right? And here I can add the timing. Right now it's infinite, but you can set whatever you want. Is it 20 days? Is it 7 days? Is it for BFCM time period? It's entirely up to you how you want to set up this countdown time for your promotions, okay? So let's talk about a bit about collections. So if I click on my collection, future collection section here, guys, just look at how beautifully it's designed out of the box, right? I don't need to do really much here, but again, I can do a lot of things in a sense, right? I can adjust these badges here. I can set different discount. I can change how this is presented. So let's do a little bit of that. So if I click on the collection here, let's see what kind of options we have for the section. I can, for example, change how many columns I'm showing. So maybe I don't want to overwhelm people with too many options. Let's say we want to constrain that to maybe 3 collections, okay, or 2, okay. So here I have 2, but now let's say it just looks weird because it's kind of a squeeze to the left side. So what we want to do here, we're gonna do essentially the columns, okay? So that's what's gonna be deciding how it's being rendered out. So right now it's rendering basically for 4 cards, okay? These are cards. Since we're setting 2, we technically have in the background like invisible grid or row for these extra 2 cards. And to change that, I need to change the 2, and now it's gonna be basically full screen, and it's gonna be perfectly for these 2 cards right here. Okay, and I can even make it bigger. I can do it full, for example, which is gonna take it full screen, or maybe I wanna add a bit of padding in the margin, guys, remember? So it's a little bit more compact. But again, in my case, I don't need that. I'll just do the default one. And again, I think 2, it just looks too empty. Let's do maybe 3. Okay, and we'll adjust this one 2 to 3, for example. There you go, guys, this is looking much better. And I can adjust, for example, something like this. So we have like a full list instead of images. Doesn't look really good, but again, just show you have options here, right? You can also enable view all CTA here, and you can even, or maybe you can do some like shop all instead, okay? And this may be gonna go to products, and we're gonna send this to all products, okay? So people will click shop all CTA, they're gonna go to your page with all the products listed, right? If they're new users, maybe they wanna see all your products, so it's really good practice to send your new users to shop all collection page, for example. And I can even change, for example, the what kind of image format I have here. If I click, for example, on image ratio, I can do like 1:1, which is gonna crop it to square. Or maybe we want to do something like 3:2, right? So you have really a lot of options, or I can even do circles, which is also actually, this actually looking pretty cool. Let me save that. So you guys can see it's so easy to work with the Debutify theme, guys, okay? And I can even change my badges here. So I can do, for example, different colors, different copy here, right? So you have a lot of different options, right? You can even adjust a slider. So right now it's not auto slide. In my case, I don't need that because I have 2 products, but this would be good for mobile. So if I enable auto slide and if I go to mobile, for example, you guys gotta notice that it's gonna be automatically sliding from left to right. There you go, guys. So it's pretty cool. You can set also how often you should slide. Currently it's 5 seconds, but you can do something like 2 seconds, but I feel that's gonna be too fast. You know, it might confuse people. So usually something like 5 seconds is a sweet spot, all right? Cool, guys. So that's how you can do that. Now let's talk about the banners within the homepage. It's a little bit different than the hero section here, because hero section usually has a sliders and a bit of different styling and feel to it. So this is more of a static hero section. Again, you can customize it the way you want. You can change any image. Again, clicking on the section here and then choose the image, and you can choose how it appears. For example, maybe on a desktop, I wanted to adapt image, right? Or maybe I want it to be like super large, or maybe I want it to be small, right? So it really depends on your needs and how you want your Shopify store look and feel. So I'll just do medium because that feels about right. And I can customize also custom for mobile. So if I go to mobile, if I switch to small, you guys are gonna see now it's changed to small. So it really will depend on, you know, how many users actually go all the way down the section, and maybe if not too many, maybe you want to make things smaller and compact. So more users see more content, you know, because if your content is too large in height, then it takes too much space and pushes down a lot of content that might be important. So that's something also important to consider for you. Okay, so then we have really cool stuff like UGC carousel. Again, this is a really nice section to have. And again, to customize that, you're gonna click on a UGC carousel and you're gonna go through all these options and you're gonna customize them the way you want. Guys, I would love to go to a single every option in here, but again, there are just so many options that you can do that it would take me hours. And again, I'm not trying to say it because it's complicated, because there's so much control and versatility, and in a sense that the entire team is so modular and you can do it in any way that you want, and again, without ever hiring a developer and spending a single dime on a dev hours, guys, okay? So you can customize every single thing, and this is looking just so insanely professional and awesome that I am absolutely speechless here, guys, okay? And what's even cool, that you can add these products from this UGC carousel, right? So for example, you're working with the UGC or content, UGC influencer or influencers in general, and they send you the content and you add it here, and you can even add which product the influencer is promoting, for example, and they can add the product directly from the UGC carousel, which really shortens the path for your lower funnel, meaning that just on the homepage, on the spot, they can add the product to cart instantly and convert, go to cart, and boom, guys, and you have an order on the spot thanks to this UGC carousel right here. Okay, so I think we really talked about these sections and what these sections are in terms of the settings and what are the blocks right here and what they do. So again, just to really remember something important, guys, for you. So these are all sections. Okay, so when you click on these ones, these are sections, and these sections have blocks like we discussed before, and these blocks have their like little child elements in there which can be customized. So each of these elements inside those are blocks, okay, and each of them can be customized. For example, I can take this video, the last one here, and I can drop it to be as the first one, and it's gonna instantly change, okay? Or maybe this one, I can just put it as a last one, just drag and drop, and the change will be pretty much instant, and then make sure to save. Okay, so what about if we want to add a brand new section, right? So all we need to do is just gonna go here, scroll down and click on add section, and I can add any of these super nicely already pre-made, ready to go sections, okay? So I can add something like before and after, right? So if you are in a beauty or, you know, maybe in health and fitness, so here you can, for example, add your before and after, or maybe like, you know, in a beauty, in a facial care, for example, you're selling like some, you know, acne creams, right? So you can put, for example, a picture on one side where the model is showing off her face with a bit of acne, and then the after is going to show off a nice and glowing skin after using your acne product, for example. Okay, and again, it can be same use case for health and fitness products, really a lot of use cases. So any product that delivers some sort of before and after effect, you can use section here. And again, really useful and comes with the Debutify theme built in. And it's really easy to use. All you're gonna do here, you're gonna find the before and after block right here, guys. Okay, and you have everything here basically organized. You can see before settings. So here you're gonna add an image before. So just really to show you guys an example, purely example, I'm gonna add this image here as before, and I'm gonna add, for example, this image as after, right? Just to show you how it looks like. And guys, there you go, guys. That's how it works. Okay, pretty awesome and pretty cool section, guys, to have. So if you are in beauty, health, or fitness, and you are selling products that have before after effects, definitely use section, because I guarantee you this will just absolutely 3x and 4x and even 5x your conversion rates guaranteed. Okay, so that's about it. That's really a crash course on Shopify's website design for beginners. Pretty much everything you need to know to start stacking and building these sections and blocks. Now you have a clear understanding and kind of a roadmap how to work with these. And again, if you have any questions about Shopify website design as a beginner, or how to do certain things on your Shopify store, leave a comment below and I'm gonna help you out. Or if you have questions about the Debutify theme, again, leave a comment and I'm gonna help you out personally. I guarantee you that. But if not, make sure to like and subscribe so I can keep making this video for y'all out there and help you out with building out the perfect Shopify store for you or for a business. And guys, as always, I'm gonna wish you happy building, and I'm gonna see you next time.